Logic. I want to ask you a question. Have you been training your abs like crazy and not getting results? Have you been training your abs every single day, going hard, hundreds of reps, and you have not seen a difference? If you are that person, which I'm sure a lot of you are, what have you done to change that? Are you still frustrated? Do you feel like your program is working, or do you need to change it? So put in the chat if you've been working your abs super duper hard and you feel like you're not seeing the changes that you feel like you should be seeing. And what are you going to do about it? All right. So today I got a letter from a young lady named Tasha from Richmond, Virginia. She's late 30s, right? And that's very important because our age does matter when it comes to our abdominal shape, right? Because just different things happen in life, right? So she wrote in, she's talking about, listen, over the last year, I got in really, really good shape, better shape than I've ever been in, right? A lot of us say that. She said, recently, she had gotten down, legs look great, upper body looks great, posture's great, strength is great, her stamina's great, but she does not have a tight midsection. She wants a tight stomach, tight midsection. She feels like by now she should be seeing that, right? So she says she trains abs 5 to 6 days a week, right? A lot of times she does 100 sit-ups, 50 crunches, 50 bicycle crunches. She's getting in 250 to 300 reps of ab movements throughout a workout, right? Just on one day at the end of her workout, 5-6 days a week. She feels like she should be way down, right? So this is what ends up happening. A trainer saw her working out and she was doing all these abs, and he said, man, I see you doing abs all the time. Are you getting where you want to be, right? And she told him, no, I'm not. But, maybe I'm just not using enough weight. Maybe I'm just doing the wrong exercises. Maybe what am I doing wrong? And he said, you should be training your core the same way you train every other body part, right? And so that took her for a loop because she's used to performing so many reps. And she said, every once in a while I'm sore. Most days I'm not, but sometimes I'm sore depending on what exercises I performed the day before. So this is probably the way to do it. And everybody I follow online does it this way. So she doesn't know if the trainer was incorrect, if he just didn't know her body type, if he didn't realize what her goals were. And so she's pretty much wondering right now, has she been doing it all wrong? And should she change it up, or should she keep going how she's going? Should she just fast a little bit, cut down her calories, get into a deficit? Is that going to be the pivot that she needs to turn her abs in the direction that she wants? All right. So that's basically what she wants to know today. So we're going to get to that. Now, today, guys, on Lunchtime Logic, because I am your guy, Coach Mark, and this is Transformation Station, we are going to eat lunch today because that's what we do. Now, a lot of you guys will say, Mark, why do you eat lunch and go live and talk to us about people's problems? Well, first of all, it's lunchtime. Second of all, the notion that so many of us don't eat, and I'm talking fitness influencers, health coaches, wellness coaches, you guys think that we starve ourselves, that we eat 500 calories a day. That is not true, okay? So in this lunch bowl of mine, 5 ounces of lean ground turkey, I believe 5 ounces of grilled chicken, half of a sweet potato, half a cup of corn, right? That's about, for me, I think that comes in at around 650 calories for me, right? High protein for me, low carb. I'm a guy that operates better high protein, low carb, but you might be different. You might operate differently. You might operate better with higher carbs, lower protein, right? Everybody is different. I promise you that. But I eat here because we need to reframe our idea about nutrition. Eating often is okay. Eating until you're full is okay. But we have to choose the right items. That's it. Guys, it's like spending money. You could spend $100 on things that you get rewards from, or you could spend $100 on things that you get nothing from. That's the difference, all right? So we need calories for energy. We need carbs for energy. We need protein for energy, right? Just to make it very simple. We cannot get that by starving ourselves. Now, if you're fasting, right? Great health benefits for fasting, and I do that myself from time to time. But when you're not in a fasting phase, guys, you shouldn't be starving yourself. You should not be hungry all the time. That's not the way to get this done. I promise you that. Your body cannot relax when your body is nutrient deficient, right? Sorry for getting tongue-tied. When you're nutrient deficient, guys, your body can't relax enough to then use stored fat for fuel. That's how it goes. All right. So if you have a detailed story like this one that we just talked about, you have a submission and you want me to talk about it and give you some advice on Lunchtime Logic, please email me at coachmark22@gmail.com. That is coachmark with a C, 22@gmail.com. All right. All emails are welcome. Now, to Miss Tasha. Now let's address the elephant in the room, guys. I don't personally know anyone who is 100% satisfied with their abdominals, with their midsection. Nobody. Not personally. And let's be clear. Most of the people that you follow, that you believe that their abs are exactly where they want them to be, they're also not satisfied. They're not satisfied. Because in this health and fitness game, bro, I don't know that you're ever satisfied. That's number one. Overall, you're never satisfied, I don't think. Because you always want to push yourself and challenge yourself, right? Then, if we're talking about midsections, what looks nice to you doesn't look nice to them. And a lot of times that's because of where they used to be compared to where they are now. And also where they want to be compared to where they are now. Now you take somebody that has a six-pack and you look at it and say, wow, they look way better than me. I pay money to look like that. Well, that person has had that six-pack for 8 years. They want an 8-pack. They want the type of abdominals that cave in the middle. You ever see the ones that had a crease in the middle, right? So most people are not 100% satisfied with their abdominal area. And the reason why that's important is because I get a lot of questions regarding abs, midsection, flat stomach, flat tummy, right? And we have to realize that, first of all, there's different body types. So it's very hard for someone like me. I'm 5'10", 205 pounds. I'm built more like a running back. I'm not going to look like a basketball player. It doesn't matter what I do. Most likely, I'm not going to have the same curvature as a dude who's 6'4", 180 pounds, and he plays basketball all the time. We have different builds and we have different workouts, right? Most likely, our spines are even aligned differently. So we're going to have a different shape to our core, even if I'm a low body fat percentage, okay? Also has a lot to do with your body fat percentage. So I urge young Tasha to understand, sis, no matter what you do, it's a good chance you're never going to be satisfied with that midsection. You can be happy with it. 100% satisfied? I don't know too many people personally. I have a son who plays college football. I am telling you, I saw it on paper. He is 10% body fat and 195 pounds. That's unreal, right? He still does core every other day. He still works his core every other day. He's not satisfied. So I think realizing that the satisfaction that we think is going to come from a certain look, we have to realize that it's not. The satisfaction we're looking for is not coming. It's like when you say, if I can just make $1 million, I'll be cool. No, because you're going to want to make $2 million. The million's only going to last for so long, and you're going to spend some of it. So now I need to make another $1 million, right? All right. So Tosh said she does hundreds of ab exercises daily to achieve this desired core. And I think, Tasha, we can all agree we've all been there. Even health professionals, guys, we actually get certifications for this, and we still attack it incorrectly at times, right? We've all thought about clients that we had before. Man, if I wish I'd known what I know now, I would have directed that client differently. I would have helped that client in a different way if I'd have known what I know now, okay? So we've all done it wrong. We've all done hundreds of sit-ups, hundreds of crunches. Every single ab exercise you can think of, we just attach like a zero to it, and we feel like we got to do 100,000 of them to see results. Not only that, we've all heard the motto or the saying, abs are made in the kitchen, right? So you have the group of people that feel like they have to starve themselves to see their abdominal muscles. There's some truth to both theories, but starving yourself is never good. Most of you guys will never step on a stage and compete in a bodybuilding competition. So because of that, there's no need for you to diet in an extreme fashion. Those people are getting ready for a show. They're getting down to an insane body fat percentage, and then they're going to come out of it immediately. Immediately. So, Tasha, you're doing hundreds and hundreds of core exercises, and you're thinking, my core should be getting better every day. Well, one thing I can tell you, your core is adapting to the number of reps that you perform every day. It is adapting. Just like your triceps adapt to the exercises that you do for triceps. Same thing. And you were sore at first when you started doing these ab exercises and doing a couple hundred of them, and you were like, oh, this is working. Because it was. The reason why you were sore is because you were training muscles that hadn't been trained, and you were putting them through different movements and different different movements, different concentric and eccentric movements at the same time, right? Squeezing, letting go, squeezing, letting go. And you hadn't performed that before. So of course, you tore muscle fibers and you felt sore the next day, a couple days. So you figured this is going to work. But I'm telling you, Tasha, if you double your steps today, or triple them, or quadruple them, just your steps, just walking, you will be sore the next day. Anytime we perform a movement that we're not used to performing at a high rate, it's going to shock our body because we're using muscles that we wouldn't normally use at that rate. Okay? So I do understand why you think that was going to work. And also, Tasha, let's be clear. There's a lot of fitness influencers who live by certain abdominal routines. And you feel like the numbers and the sets and the rounds that they put up, that's what they use to achieve that physique. Not realizing that some of them, a lot of them, never went through an overweight period of time. So you're following these people, some of them are 28, 29. They played some type of college sport. When they graduated from college, 22, 23 years old, they went right into fitness. But they were already in the top 1% of human beings in the world, right? When it came to fitness. So they didn't have to work off a big belly. They were never pregnant. They were never 40 pounds overweight. They were never sedentary for 5 years. So a lot of them, yes, I'm not telling you they're lying about their routine at all. Absolutely not. But if they did not do that insane amount of reps, they still would have a very tight midsection, okay? Now, let's attack a few things. The number of reps and the amount of days. Tasha, you need to, let me start with the nutrition part. Let's start with that. Our body stores glycogen, right? Glucose, glycogen, and turns it into fat in the cells for our body to use at a later date for energy. Our body says, hey, we might need to use that at some point if we can't find food. So let's store it. And where does our body like to store most of the fat in our cells? Around our midsection, right? Okay. Now, you also have fat in the cells in your arms, around your neck, but there aren't as many cells. That's why your neck will go down quicker than your midsection. And that's why this is the last place to go down, because your body stores the most fat around your midsection, which makes sense, right? That's where your body has the most room, and it's very easily accessible, okay? So the fat can be redeposited into the bloodstream, and it also protects the organs, okay? So apparently you were overweight before, which is cool. Most of us were. What then happens is, as you're losing fat everywhere, again, there's 100 fat cells around your neck, but there's 1,000 around your abdomen. So all of them are shrinking at the same time, but there's more down here than up here, okay? So everything we've used to lose fat in every other area is the same method we need to use to lose fat in this area. This is what we do though. Because we don't fully understand how the body uses fat for fuel, we quit. Because we see the fat loss in our arms, under here, in our calves, in our feet, in our neck, in our face. And we think that the body is saying, oh, we're never gonna lose the fat around the abdomen. Almost like our body's done using fat for fuel. That's not the case. Normally, we panic when the fat hasn't come all the way off the midsection like we'd like it to, and we change up what we're doing. The human body does not prioritize fat loss in the cells because, again, the fat is for a later date. The body does not want to get rid of the fat in the cells if it doesn't have to, okay? The main reason why the body is able to lose fat like it does in the first couple months is because we get in a good rhythm. We're eating at the same time. We're eating the same amount of calories. Protein, carbs are on point. The body can relax. We know what we're getting. We're not deficient in anything. Oh, because of the fasting window, we use fat for fuel, right? When we change up, when we change our diet, when we stop eating, when we're now doubling our cardio, we're going to HIIT classes twice a day. The body now is going through changes. Oh, we gotta hurry. We gotta hold on to the fat. We gotta hold on to it. We don't know what's going on. So you have to get yourself okay. You have to stay in it. And you have to be patient. There is absolutely no one that you follow whose abs got defined and look amazing from 3 months of work. That's not how it goes. And I get it, sweetie. You know, we misguide you because we have you thinking, like we'll say 90-day fat burning routine, right? And you're thinking, oh, I can burn all this fat off in 90 days. That's not the truth. It's just not. And even if you did, you got to stay with that routine. Just don't stop, right? So your nutrition has to be on point, and you can't keep changing it up all the time. You cannot. If you have some small fasting periods, that's fine. What you don't want to do is always be taking the body through changes and not allowing it to relax. The body likes to be in a relaxed state, okay? That doesn't mean sedentary. That means regular program, Means you work out Monday, you work out Tuesday, you rest Wednesday, you work out Thursday, you rest Friday, you work out Saturday. When you're on that rhythm, it just slowly gets there. Most people quit within that first year, or they change up too much. Their body can never get settled. But the nutrition is always going to be 70 to 80% of your battle. And if you eat clean, whole foods, you eat at a regular time every single day, and you keep those times the same. You eat your dinner a little earlier, you walk at night, all the things. It will take care of itself, okay? But you have to stick with it, and you can't take your body through extremes. So you can't go carnivore diet for 2 months, then you switch over to being a vegetarian. Then you go to the paleo diet for 3 months. Your body never gets a chance to get in a nice rhythm, all right? All those diets are great. All those things are great. But your body doesn't get a chance to get in a rhythm and get comfortable. You understand? Okay. Now, let's talk about these ab workouts where you're doing 400,000 reps. It's the abdominal muscles. So they're just like any other muscle group. We train them 1, 2, or 3 times a week max. But no group of muscles needs 100 reps per sitting. None, to see development, right? A lot of people would argue that we're overtraining like crazy in America. Because all of us took after the bodybuilders. And the bodybuilders are training for a different type of activity. And they're also different type athletes, and they have different nutritions and schedules than we do. They get more sleep than we don't have to train like bodybuilders to look the way we want to, right? So your abdominal routine is way off. You should never be training 5 and 6 days. Now, if you're somebody that has to do it daily because you don't like doing it, then I would prescribe you pick 1 exercise a day and you perform 3 sets of it. And it's 10 to 12 reps, and that's it. And maybe you increase the difficulty so you feel like you're doing something, but trust me, that would be it. But I don't really think you need to train it every day. That would be the last resort. What I'd like to see you do is scale it back. And if it makes you feel better, train 3 days a week. I like doing my abdominals on a cardio day. So my cardio day is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, okay? I do HIIT cardio when I play basketball, or I do steady state where I'm at the track and I run. But either way, those are really good days for me to hit my core, okay? It's 2 to 3 exercises. It's 2 to 3 sets. It's 10 reps, 12 reps, 8 reps maybe, 16 reps at the most. Doing clips of 50 and 40, you don't need to do that, okay? Because what you're doing is, you are severely overtraining that muscle. That muscle does not get a chance to repair itself. So when you come back the next day, the muscle fibers have not repaired themselves. They haven't recovered. So they're nowhere near full strength. You're tearing muscle fibers when you work those abdominal muscles. So they need 48 to 72 hours to repair. So you're continuing to tear these muscle fibers. They haven't had a chance to repair, okay? And so it's almost like you break your leg and you don't let it heal in the cast and you continue to play volleyball on it. That leg will never heal. It'll continue to be broken. 3 sets, 3 times a week, max. And that's max. Because your core really gets worked hard doing our leg exercises, our squats, our deadlifts, right? Our good mornings, lunges, our Bulgarian split squats. A lot of times our upper body exercises, we have to engage our core. So our core really gets work with most movements that we perform, especially if you're adamant about cardio, HIIT cardio. When I play basketball, man, my core gets man, it gets a lot of work. When I run on a track, when I'm running sprints, a lot of work. My core is getting engaged the entire time. So I just got to be honest with you. You can scroll to some of my videos. Now, I'm not where I want to be midsection wise, but I don't have a terrible core for someone who's over 200 pounds. And I don't perform any abdominal exercises right now, currently, right? A lot of calisthenics, right? Jumping jacks, running in place, burpees, things like that. Engage the core a lot. I'd rather hear you say you did 3 sets of burpees, because it's a full body movement and your core is being engaged, your core is being worked, okay? On your cardio days, I would throw in my abs. Now, there's some people that would say put it on the end of your workout, right? But even if you do it after every body part that you train, you're still only doing 1 set, maybe 2. You don't need a half an hour, 45 minutes on your core. It is one group of muscles, man. And when you overtrain, now it's not, your core is not at full strength when you're running. Now it's back day tomorrow. You need your core to be engaged so you can, do your upright rows. It's hard to do that. So I think you knew when that trainer came to you, I think you knew he was right. But it's weird because when we're doing something and we're going so hard for so long, and we hear somebody say you've been doing it wrong the whole time, it's a shock to our system, okay? But one major quality that most people have that you see online that are in great shape, they're coachable. And the people that stay stagnant normally are not coachable. So the fact that you wrote in means that you want to learn and you want to figure this out. That's a great step. Whenever a trainer takes some time to talk to you about something that they see you doing wrong, that's a blessing, bro, because they don't have to say nothing to you. I see people doing things incorrectly all the time in the gym. I rarely ever say anything, because I don't want to interrupt. But take heed to what that young man said to you. So let's dial it back. Less is more. Less is more. Normally, our issues stem from what we need to remove, not what we need to add. And oddly enough, it's in pretty much every area of health, fitness, and wellness. I wish I could tell you it's things that we need to add so much, but we normally just need to remove. In this case, that's exactly what's going on. Remove all the reps. You need to remove the frequency, okay? Give your abdominals a chance to repair and recover. And I'm telling you, you're going to see a change. Also, if that area is being stressed a lot, there might be a lot of inflammation in that area. So that in the form of swelling, you'll see that area swell. Like if you hurt your knee and it was super inflamed, it's going to swell a bit. Okay. So I think you kind of understand, but also just know, let's stay steady in the kitchen. Steadiness in the kitchen. Let's make sure the sodium is down. Let's make sure the sugar content is down. Let's make sure we're eating earlier. I didn't even ask you about that. But a lot of times, a lot of you guys have lost a significant amount of weight and you've gotten used to eating later, right? But you're eating very healthy and your calorie count's good. So maybe you're using calories in, calories out, and the time of day doesn't matter as much for you. But I am telling you what I know. The people who back their dinner up from 8 to 7, from 7 to 5:30, from 6:30 to 5, and they move a little bit after dinner, that is the cheat code. That is the cheat code. And that keeps you out. That just keeps your, obviously, the glucose in your bloodstream is being used instead of stored. That's basically, and at night, our body has a chance to not only repair and recover, but it has to switch to using fat in the cells at some point during the night when there's no glucose left in the bloodstream. And we do that we use that glucose by moving after dinner. But it's hard to move after dinner if we're eating dinner late. You understand? No matter how healthy the dinner is. All right? Now, Tosh, that was a great submission. I'm really glad you took time to write in and seek advice. Because when we don't seek advice, that is a form of ignorance. You understand? There are people that know the answers to the test that you're taking. You just have to ask them what the answers are. And you pass the test. You understand? So if you have a submission like Tasha, if you have a situation like hers, please be detailed, but please email me at coachmark22@gmail.com. All right? I'm going to come on here every day. Lunchtime Logic, baby. You don't know how we do. And it's just to give advice to those who need it. But a lot of times, the people who are watching, the people who will view it later, are going through a similar issue. So we all win. And now one more thing. When you comment, when you put your opinion, when you put your advice in the comment section, that gives Tasha or anybody else who writes in several views. And they can take nuggets from each person and put it into their solution. Isn't that beautiful, right? The more ingredients, the better the stew comes out. So this is your guy, Coach Mark, man. I enjoy spending time with you guys every day. I look forward to it, all right? So I hope to see you back here. This is Transformation Station. This is Lunchtime Logic. I'll see y'all tomorrow.